Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing good. I want to tell you a story, and I heard it on an episode of Star Trek Voyager. Because, as you all know, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. Love me some Star Trek and some Star Wars. Anyway, so yes, this particular story was on the episode entitled Scorpion. It had to do with the Borg and everything. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, oh well, that's fine. Okay, so how does it go? Okay, there was a fox, and he was getting ready to swim across the river. Well, there was a scorpion, and he said, hey, can I get a ride on your back? I want to cross too. And the fox, like, no. He says, well, if you're on my back, then you're going to sting me, and we're going to both drown. So the scorpion's like, well, no, I'm not going to do that because, we'll both die if I do that. So the fox ended up letting the scorpion on his back, and they made their way across the river. Well, halfway across, lo and behold, the scorpion stung him. And he's like, the fox is like, well, why did you do that? We're both going to die now. And the scorpion simply replies, because it's in my nature. And I know I paraphrased it, some people tell it differently, different animals involved, but, the antagonist is always the scorpion. And I say this because of, a person who is in active drug addiction is never, ever, ever, ever to be trusted, ever. It's hard enough to trust like the average, Joe Blow walking down the street or whatever, a man or a woman or whatever isn't even on drugs, and you're not necessarily going to trust them. But I've got to tell you, somebody in active drug addiction is never, ever, ever, ever to be trusted. It's pretty bad when a drug dealer over near Tacoma was telling me, he's like, never, ever, ever, ever trust an addict, not even yourself. And I get it now. I mean, back when I was all strung out, I thought, dang, if I have money and drugs and trying to help everybody out, giving them this, giving them that, they'd be appreciative. No, in fact, they'll think you're some kind of jackass, and that'll make them want to take advantage of you more. Here I'm smoking drugs with people at the house, years ago, and one of the gals decided she was going to steal the 40 sack of dope from me right in front of me, and then run into the bathroom and stuffed it in her underwear and talking about, oh, I don't know where it is. And they're just various stories of these people acting like fools. Now, don't get me wrong. It's my fault for ever getting involved in drugs in the first place and for, making all these ridiculous decisions. But that's how it was. It's like, no matter how nice you are to these people, they will turn around and stab you in the back. Well, actually, no, because they'll stab you in the front while they're looking at you. You know what I mean? So if you have a heart to serve people and a heart for Jesus, and you want to work with people who are slaves to active drug addiction, I would suggest you do it, the formal way, by applying to be a peer support specialist, or, getting a degree in psychology or chemical abuse or whatever it is that you get if you're working at an inpatient treatment facility or an outpatient treatment facility. Don't ever go around trying to do stuff on your own. That was another example of, just before I got my job at St. Vinny's, I believe it was like the middle to end of 2005, I had heard about this gentleman who was trying to help these homeless people in Seattle. And I guess, they had done something, and, these people were, homeless, on drugs, whatever, and they had done something, and he confronted them, and they murdered him. As far as I know, he was murdered, and then they burnt the house down or whatever, and I was thinking, dang, what a messed up story. And then lo and behold, in January of 2006, I was at St. Vincent de Paul in Port Orchard doing my interview, so I could do my, what did I say? It was an internship through Kitsap Community Resources. That's how I started working at St. Vinny's in the first place. Yes, and my boss was interviewing me, and then she said something, and I'm like, oh, wow, that was your son-in-law. So yeah, my future boss, that was her son-in-law. That was brutally murdered, all for trying to help people and, for confronting somebody who was doing him dirty. And I remember her telling me that story, and I'm like, dang, that is, it almost makes you not even want to help people. And it's crazy. She sat there for a minute. She looked at me, and she said, you should never ever, ever stop helping people. Now, I understand what she meant, but you have to do it in a capacity that's safe, or safer. I mean, Lord knows this world is not safe, but if you want to work with people who are struggling with active drug addiction, all I can say is go through the formal process. Fill out whatever paperwork you need to fill out to be a peer support specialist, or, like I said, go to school, get that degree in social work, or, psychology, or chemical dependency. That's what it is. You need a degree in that at least. I mean, one of my friends who used to work at St. Vinny, she's an actual bona fide therapist now. She has her own practice, which is great. Good for her. That's cool. But, that's what you got to do. You just can't go willy-nilly and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to go help these people and do this and do that, because, Lord knows what will happen to you. And that was it, too. I was always wondering, when I was stuck in addiction, there were still parts of my brain that tried to use logic and common sense, if that makes any sense. So I was thinking, okay, so I help these people, so they're not going to do me dirty. Not even thinking about the ramifications of, what the drugs are doing to our brains. You know what I mean? So it is completely different on the streets. I mean, even people who you try to help who aren't on drugs or alcohol or whatever, they'll still screw you over and do you dirty too. You know what I mean? But all bets are off when it comes to helping people. Like, if you're in active addiction and they're in active addiction, they're going to do what they can to rip you off, even if you do help them. And me, I was one of these people who was also very, very stupid when I was high. Like going to the casino with some black dude and, spending all my money. And then he said, oh, hey, give me your $50 bill and I'll hold on to it for you. And me, being high and obviously no common sense and just brain was clearly not working at that time, gave him the $50, never saw that fool again. And the list just goes on and on about all the stupid stuff I've done, which, like I say, I take full responsibility for it, for getting, involved with drugs and just being a fool. That's on me, you know what I mean? But like I said before, also, that doesn't give somebody the right to victimize you or to beat you up, assault you, rape you because you made some bad decisions in your life. Because some people will tell you that. Well, if you hadn't been doing this, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I get that. But that doesn't give some dirty dude the right to force himself on you. So don't let anybody tell you that it's 100% your fault if some dude assaults you or forces himself on you or does whatever. Yeah, you made the mistake by making bad decisions, but that does not absolve them of what they have done. You feel me? And once again, I'm going off topic, and now I gotta go. I have some food I gotta eat. Just think about what I told y'all. Please like, share, subscribe to this channel, but only if you want to. And also, check out my Journey in Recovery Facebook page. And I'll see y'all later. Thanks for listening. God bless y'all. Bye.